I was born ready. It's a pleasure to see everybody here. And so I know that we've got some amazing speakers that are going to be sharing some content today that's going to be incredible. It's going to blow you away. I want to talk to you about a couple of things. But first of all, most of you have no idea who I am. So this is me. And you're thinking, what a massive ego this guy has. But you'd be surprised how many ways I get introduced where you just have to turn around and say, actually, this is me. So here's what I want to share with you. I think Africa is in an incredible position. And I think that everybody on this call and everybody who's listening or performing or sharing ideas is in an incredible position. I'm going to share this with you in a moment. But first of all, what I want to do is offer everybody who's here a free gift. And so if you get your phone, if you're not on your phone, and get this QR code, then I'm going to share with you 10 strategies that are really going to help you to grow your brand. That includes getting over a fear of public speaking, how to start your personal brand, how to dominate on LinkedIn and get viral, how to get over imposter syndrome, and a ton of other things. It's got strategies built in. So take a quick screenshot of this. I will show you this at the end of this presentation as well. So if you're just trying to get through your phone now and turn off Facebook and get on, you'll get a chance to see it again in a few moments. So with that being said, why does it matter to Africa? And this is only my opinion, but I've hosted quite a few African forums. I'm based in Dubai, and the same things seem to be coming back from everybody about the opportunities in Africa. So I'm going to share what I've got from hosting these events. First of all, as we know, the world's got this huge agenda about what it wants to do, and it's going to do it with or without Africa's participation. Now we're seeing Africa kind of waking up. It'd be great because I think we're in a position to help drive it. Realistically, I think in 15 to 20 years, Africa will be seen as a superpower alongside everybody else. Right now, it's not considered like that. Whether or not it is, it's just not considered that way. But that gives us about 15, 20 years to be able to influence and hopefully bring everything together. So right now as well, we've got personalities making global decisions, not just politicians, but people who are driving by their own personal brand. Elon Musk or Mark Zuckerberg, just a few to come to think of. Even Johnny Depp and Will Smith, who we'll examine in a few moments' time to see what they do. Now, speaking and branding together, and especially speaking about your branding, does attract business opportunities. That's why it's well worth considering what you already have and what you can put together, because I'm inundated in all my WhatsApp groups and everything by PDFs of people saying, buy my coin, buy my offering. Who do you know who's an investor that's got lots of money? And this could just be sorted out if I knew who I was talking to in the first place. Because your brand, if it's effective, can close deals before you start your pitch. Otherwise, you're starting on the back foot, and it's always more difficult to get people's attention. So your choice is this. You can drive your global agenda or just react to things that happen around you instead. I know which one I prefer. And also, when you get to grow your brand, you also have a life full of joy and passion and purpose, because what you believe in is what you put into creating your brand. So what do? Well, I'm going to share with you some strategies now, which I believe are the ways to move forward. What you have to do effectively is become an industry icon. What's an industry icon? Well, I'll tell you everything in this next few minutes. If you want to know more ahead of time, but don't do it during this presentation, make a note of this, theindustryicon.com, and that will give you details about how you can work with me directly on growing your own effective personal brand. So the industry icon is a very important element of what we do. I'm going to share with you now exactly what that means. Hi, I'm Dave Crane, an ex-BBC journalist who transforms decision makers and business owners who are feeling unknown and scared to speak on stage into highly respected and branded industry experts who are frequently getting offered 5, 6, and even 7-figure contracts to do exactly what they did before. During the pandemic, I lost everything except the belief that, like me, the world is full of frustrated leaders and game changers with untapped potential and brilliant ideas who felt time was always against them because they were worth much, much more and just needed help to learn to jump and grow wings on the way down. And so that's what I do. I help create industry icons. Imagine being in constant demand, headhunted and interviewed because you're the visionary whose life purpose and passion are aligned. So every single day you wake up smiling, truly happy, only doing what you want, when you want, and having plenty of time to spend with those you love. I created the Industry Icon program to give you simple, actionable, step-by-step strategies to help you to fly. If you're an ambitious entrepreneur or one in the making who's looking to create a business that makes an impact and a life worth living, it's an honor to be serving you. And now it's your turn to build a legacy. So let's get started. We need to talk. This is your time to become an industry icon. So that being said, I really do believe that this is a time where a personality brand with a business combined makes a huge difference, and that's why I'm creating a series, a community of game changers around the world. And I love hanging around with George, and I love going to the EcoX events because I meet so many amazing people who are doing incredible things, and they're all held together by the enthusiasm of George and Franco and Saith and the team. And now it's really exciting to be part of that real impact that's happening in Africa as well. So here's the way that I drive it with Game Changers. You create your speaking and communication skills alongside your personal branding, and your mindset's got to be in the right place as well. Once you've got that together, then you've got multiple income streams. Now, I know everybody on this call is either involved in Web 3.0 or NFTs or stuff in the Metaverse. These are all extra income streams. You can't really understand how much impact you have when you can speak and brand alongside them, because then you become a celebrity. But let me explain exactly what celebrity means. It's not just a Kardashian idea of, look at me, I'm eating my dinner, aren't I wonderful? It's being associated with the fact of what you do is really important and you're brilliant at doing that. Let me share with you that. So your personal brand is how you present yourself to the world. What does that mean? Well, very simply, your personal brand is when you leave the room, what do people say about you? If they say good things, your brand works. If they say horrible things, guess what? Your brand isn't working at all. We'll go through that in more specifics in a moment. But you've got to figure out who you are before you share it with the world. Don't just accept that they're going to make it up as they go along, because there's too many different factors involved and people who want to be ahead of you in the food chain. Plus also, you've got to take in the fact that many, many people you encounter are actually mad. So do you really want them to choose who you're going to be unless you have some kind of call over what that actually means? So your brand is made up of several different factors. First of all, you can see in yellow what people currently think of you. In green, what you want them to think of you. And then in red, what you don't want them to think of you. Now, it's self-explanatory. You really want to push for the things that you want them to think of you and do less of the stuff that you don't want them to think of you. And that way you create your brand. So what does that mean? Some questions that you might want to make a note of. First of all, who am I? Then also, who's my target audience? What do they want from me? Which strategy should I use to get the most out of our relationship? What's the landscape like where I'm going to be branding and selling my business? Is it saturated? Should I find a new place to play where there's lots of people interested? Or can I dominate where we are right now? And how frequently when I'm creating content do I post it? Should I do it every day? Should I do it every week? Should I do it once in a blue moon? Or only when I've got something to say? These are really big questions that you should consider. So let's look at some industry icons, some ones that are currently making a huge difference in the market. So if you look at this right now, I mean, I'm blocking a couple of them, but you can certainly see that over here we've got Jack Ma. I'm not sure who that guy is, but I'm sure he's really important. You've got Mark Zuckerberg, Oprah Winfrey. Over here you've got Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, Jay-Z. And if I move that the way slightly, you can see Richard Branson. Now, these are all well-known names, as you've probably worked out from this. But the point is, whoever they are, whatever they do, When you are a branded name, you add about 50% of revenue to your company because people like you, they know you, they trust you, and then they prioritize your business as something that they want to work with in the future. Let's have a little play to see what this actually means by playing a game called Celebrity Fantasy League. Now, I made this game up. It's not copyrighted, but you can probably have it after a while anyway. So take some celebrities and some recent situations. Let's start with this. Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. Now, unless you were asleep under a stone, you probably saw the court case that went on for a couple of months. And everyone had their choice and their favorite, who was right, who was wrong. Anybody who's been in a destructive or challenging relationship knows what they think of it. But also, at the end of the day, who had the bigger brand? You had Johnny Depp with a bigger brand than Amber Heard. If you scored it out of the 100, he was probably like an 85, 90 out of the 100 as to how powerful his brand was. Hers, maybe because of Aquaman and the work she'd done before, was about 50. So even if it came out equal, he would have come out better. As it happened, it didn't come out equal, but there's an example about how his brand put him in a huge advantage for the world's press before he started. Let's take another example here. So then we've got Will Smith and Chris Rock. Who had the bigger brand? Ahmed, can I ask you to put yourself on silent because I can hear you? A couple of people in silent there, if you don't mind muting your mics. So Will Smith goes up at the Oscars and hits Chris Rock. Chris Rock probably about 65 out of 100. Will Smith definitely 100 because in his first 10 films, they all made $100 million. So really well-known, big brand. Everybody loves him. They loved his movies. So he goes on stage, does something incredibly daft, and his brand is in jeopardy. But at the end of the day, did it kill his brand? Well, it certainly harmed it, because that's the way the world is right now. You're either good or bad. There's not really grey in between. But can he come back? Yes, makes an apology, left it a bit late, makes a couple of films. And in fact, the film he should make is one with Chris Rock, where Chris Rock punches him in the face. Chris Rock's brand went up to about 80, 85 now, and I would say that Will Smith is probably hovering around about the same, but it will creep slowly back to where he was before if he does good stuff. Now let's take another example. This is more of an industry icon rather than a celebrity. Elon Musk. Now Elon Musk may well hear about this particular broadcast, so I'm not going to say too much, but the guy buys Twitter, then changes his mind, then comes back, then changes his mind again. He says lots of things that are challenging to watch on Twitter, but he was ranked as 100 out of 100 because you see him trending, you want to know what he's talking about. Now, it may cost him a fortune to get rid of Twitter, but even so, does that hurt his brand? Well, no. Why? Why doesn't it hurt his brand? Whatever he says, why doesn't it hurt his brand? Because his brand is based on him being a genius who creates incredible content, incredible products, and incredible services. So he's like the closest we've got to Tony Stark, Iron Man, in the real world. Does his personal view change his ability to create incredible products? No. So therefore, that's why creating a brand alongside your products allows you to be in a position where, like Elon Musk, still 100 out of 100, despite what he says and he does. People might not like him, but they pay attention, and that's what branding's all about. The fact is, the strongest business brand wins. So what's an industry icon and why should you consider being one? Well, it's an independent and successful decision maker who defines their own career success and their roadmap. They make a difference to their own niche on their own terms. They're not bothered about anybody else because they're a celebrity in their own niche. They take calculated risks and jump and grow wings on the way down fairly regularly. Some things work, some things don't, but because they're well known, they're building their brand, people don't mind, they forgive them. They're known and respected as thought leaders within their industry, and they've got a personal brand that means that they can have several income streams and speak about them as well. And also they want to make a difference and leave a legacy. That's what an industry icon ultimately does. And so here's a roadmap that you should consider for this. You start off being aware that you want to be bigger. You aspire to being like somebody and you set them as a target. And then you start driving with your branding, with your social media, with your events, with your products towards being that person. Then you position yourself as who it is you want to be. Ideally hanging out and looking for the lowest hanging fruit that converts in the garden and concentrating on pushing that, so you then get income streams that relate to who you are and what you do. And then you start refining and changing a position. So therefore you get seen as the best in your lane. And then ultimately, number 6 on this, you can see where you start to own your industry. Your name comes up as a verb. So people say, let's do a Dave Crane on the industry. Let's do an Elon Musk on the industry. Let's do a Mark Zuckerberg or a Johnny Depp. So your name becomes a verb. That's where you know that you're making a big impact. So now you've got to create your own legacy. How do you do that? Well, start off whether you connect with me or not. I'll give you a few moments just to get your phone out or take a screenshot of this QR code. From there, you register and you'll get my free PDF on the 10 questions that most people get stuck at about growing their brand, including growing a brand when you're not the boss at work and you know that you're not allowed to say anything. What do you do next? All that is included in this PDF. So that being shared with you, I've got my brand new podcast, Speak on Stage with Dave Crane. Connect with me on LinkedIn. You get a chance to see that or hear it, or also to see the posts I'm making all about this. And of course, you can talk to me directly. Okay? So that's it. The industryicon.com is how I create game changers. And this is how I believe we start to make Africa the biggest and best of all the choices around the world by you being empowered, your products being empowered, and you being the most effective. You want to see how it works? Just Google me. So that's my presentation. I hope it's been useful for everybody. I think it was around about 15 minutes. Hopefully it didn't take much longer than that. And it's a pleasure being here with you. Guys, have an amazing event. I can't wait to see who's up next. Hopefully we'll see everybody with the panel. And I wish you all the very best in the future. Thanks for George and the team for letting me speak.